Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to share with you this neutral, like nude to pink ombre nail art with some holographic fine glitter and some nail foils as well. I have been asked to do some like less in your face, less bright, more muted nail art, and this is what I came up with. So if you're curious to see how I made this, please keep on watching. So first up, I already applied a little bit of my favorite base coat. I always use one by Essence, and I just applied 2 layers to my natural nails. Then with a nude color by Glaze, this is like a really beige kind of color. There's no shimmer in it, it's just a creamy one. I applied 2 layers of that to make it completely opaque, and of course cap off the edges to make sure your manicure lasts a long time. And I applied this nude kind of color to my thumb, the index finger, the ring finger, and the pinky as well. And the thing is, China Glaze polishes always have really small or like narrow brushes, and it's always a little bit difficult to work with them, especially when you're not used to small brushes like that. As you can see, the polish by Essence that I'm using is actually a lot more broad, is a lot more wide, and it's really easy to use those because with just one swipe you already cover the entire nail. And the Essence polish is actually really opaque, so you don't need much of that, and I only applied 1 layer. Then with some liquid latex, I am going around the thumbnail, I'm going around the pinky and the ring finger as well, because I'm going to make a gradient on there. And I'm just going to use a kitchen sponge, or at least a little piece of a kitchen sponge for that. So once your liquid latex is fully dried, it is completely transparent and you know you are good to go. So with a tiny piece of like a kitchen sponge, I am applying a little bit of that China Glaze nude polish, and I'm also going to apply a little bit of that darker pink, like that dusty pink Essence polish. And you just want to let this sit for about like 20 seconds before you sponge it onto the nail. Otherwise it might be a little bit too wet, but just go with the flow and see what works best for you. Because we already applied a really opaque layer of polish, you can actually sponge with the amount of polish you put on the sponge all 3 nails in one go. So you don't have to reapply the nail polish to the sponge, and you can just easily dab it on. So I chose to sponge the darker pink towards the tip of the nail to make it a really neutral kind of nail art design. You could also just switch it up and use the nude color on the tips, but I really like this. And just sponge it on and just make sure it looks pretty and the way you want it to be. It doesn't matter if it is a little bit like textured, because we're going to add a layer of top coat anyways. Then while the polish is still a little bit tacky, I always apply my top coat to make sure it, like the nail itself will be really smooth and there won't be any like weird texture stuff in there. And you just want to apply a decent amount of top coat to make sure the nail is really smooth. And I'm just using a top coat by Catrice, by the way, nothing special. After that, it is time to remove the liquid latex, and I'm just using an old tweezer for that. It doesn't really matter. You could also just peel it off with your nails as well, but I prefer using some old tweezers because they are allowed to get a little bit messy or like get some nail polish on them and stuff like that. After that, I'm going to apply a little bit of foil glue to the index finger, and I'm just going to do 1 nail at a time for this, just to make sure it turns out right, because this was my first time actually using this foil and this foil glue. So I think I applied a little bit too much of the foil glue on that first finger. But while that is drying, and it dries completely transparent, so when it is transparent you know you are ready to go, I'm just going to cut 2 pieces of the nail foil I wanted to use, and this is just a nail foil I got for less than €1 at AliExpress. So if you want to know where I got this, just let me know in the comments down below and I will look it up for you. Then while the foil glue is like kind of dry or like super tacky, just put down the foil onto your nail and press down firmly. I'm just smoothing it down with my finger first and just making sure that the foil is all over this sticky layer. And just press it down, make sure there aren't any nail or air bubbles underneath the foil and on the nail, because that will show in the end result. Then I'm just going to smooth it down with like a silicone tool just to make sure it is adhering perfectly. And then it is time to take off the foil, and at the tip there was just like a small portion that really didn't want to stick. I don't know if it was because I applied too much of the foil glue or anything, but the rest of the design was on perfectly. So I just added a little bit more, like a fresh thin layer of the foil glue on the part that the foil didn't adhere. And I am also going to apply another part of that same piece of foil to that, just to make sure I don't waste foil. So just press that down again, ever so gently. You don't want to be too rough, because otherwise you will damage the nail polish layer underneath. And just push it and smooth it down with the silicone tool again. You could also just actually layer different kinds of foil like this. Just add another layer of some of that foil glue and just stack on whatever piece of foil you want to be on your nails. Then while that foil glue is drying with the foil on it, I'm going to apply another layer of that foil glue to the middle fingernail, because I want that same kind of foil on there as well. And just wait for it to dry completely transparent. And then in the meantime I was just checking to see if the foil was like adhering to the nail already, and it actually turned out really nice that second time. And just to finish off that nail, I am already applying a little bit of top coat while the foil glue on the middle fingernail is still drying. Okay, so next up is the next little piece of foil, and I'm just picking out a part of the foil that I really like and just putting that in the center of the nail, just pressing it down with my finger first and then again smoothing it out and pressing it down with the silicone tool. These tools are actually really handy for stuff like that, because if you have super long nails like I do, it might be a little bit too rough to press it down, because sometimes your nail just bump into your other nail and it's just a hassle. So these silicone tools really work softly but firmly. And after you've taken off the excess of the foil, you can see your end result. Of course you want to cap it all in with a layer of top coat as well. And do make sure to cap the edges, of course. Then I actually wanted to add a little bit more of like a holographic shimmer to the gradient nails, and I actually got the wrong polish for this, because I wanted a more sparse, like bigger sparkle kind of like polish, but I didn't have that like handy or like in reach, so I just grabbed this one, and this one is one by Catrice. It actually works really pretty, and it ties in the design completely because in the foil there was also some holographic shimmer. And you just want to apply this glittery nail polish to all the gradient nails. And yeah, that was actually already the entire design. Just to finish it all off, I wanted to add just another layer of base coat to make sure that all the glitters stay put as well and they won't scratch your skin or anything like that. And I really hope you enjoy this tutorial. It's completely different than what you are used to seeing from me because I really like my jewels and my glitters and my neon colors this time of year, but I actually really do like how soft this looks, and I actually used a nude polish for the first time in a really long time. But I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.